my baby, my Valentine. Yeah. Boy, now you're making my temperature rise.
Guys, my name is Nonema Tikela. Welcome to my YouTube channel. So today I want us to talk about possible witnesses for Bongani Ndanzi. I'm not sure who's going to come through, but I'm sure of people that I wish could come for Ndanzi's defense. Let's talk about it. Let's break it down because Sana, we are in the dark. We are in the dark. Firstly, I, as Uma Tikela, is hoping that Uram Siple, as promised before, he can bring Ustienkamp. Why do I want him to bring Ustienkamp? For me, I think Ustienkamp can assist in terms of what was said in court about Ubongani Ndanzi and what was said when Steenkamp, the sketch artist that took information from the eyewitnesses and did the so-called sketches. Okay, it's not so-called sketches, I'm wrong, but the sketches that she did. She's the one that can actually tell us what did Gininda say to her when he heard Ndanzi's ID book with him or ID card with him. What was the conversation between Steenkamp and Gininda? I want to hear the full details of that conversation. That's point number one. And how did Steenkamp twinkle or do whatever when it comes to him giving Steenkamp the ID card of Ndanzi? What did he say she must do there? What happened? Did she do new drawings or what? I want to hear that from Steenkamp also. And then the other thing that I'm quite interested in, I won't lie, is the eyewitnesses for each one who was there. Okay, let's start here before we go to that. What a sketch artist like Steenkamp actually does is as follows. Forensic sketch artists take a description from eyewitnesses, right? Translate them into visual composite, reflects what witnesses say they saw, not what is objectively proven, right? So her evidence derived from witnesses, eyewitnesses, not independent identification evidence on its own. Please note that, right? Now, how does the defense, or how can the defense use Steenkamp realistically for this case of defense for Ndanzi for me? One, attacking identification. This is where Steenkamp becomes valuable for Ndanzi. If eyewitnesses describe a suspect and Steenkamp produce a sketch that does not resemble Bongani Ndanzi or differs significantly from the accused in court, then the defense can argue the people who saw the perpetrator sorry about that, then they are not, in fact, if the eyewitnesses describe a suspect that Steenkamp produced in a sketch that does not resemble Ubongani Ndanzi, then that creates okay, the people who saw, hang on, then the defense can argue that the people who saw the perpetrator did not describe Ndanzi. Do you remember Ndanzi fighting this and saying this? But no, they said there was someone, but it was not me. He stood on that business, and I believe the defense can also deal with this properly. Now, that creates reasonable doubt on identity, which is critical in a murder case. That's the first point. Secondly, exposing inconsistencies between witnesses. This is the second thing that the defense can find here. Steenkamp can testify about differences in descriptions between witnesses, how features change, height, complexion, facial structure, clothing. That helps how it helps to show witnesses were not consistent, memory may be unreliable or contaminated. That's the second point. The third point is that memory and perception problems are very, do you understand? A sketch artist can explain how stress affects recall, how lightning, fear, and time gaps distort memory. This supports a defense argument. Eyewitnesses identification in this case is unreliable because there was drama in that courtroom, if you remember. Now, eyewitnesses identification cannot be something that we can just think we can accept from the witnesses, especially the way they behaved, those ones that gave testimony in the courtroom. Point number 4, undermining the state's identification evidence. If the state relies on eyewitnesses, dog identification, later claims of I recognize him, just like Tumelo and Zandi did. Just like Tumelo and Ntanzi did, then Steenkamp's sketches can be used to show the original descriptions don't match the accused. But here is the limit, very, very important. A sketch artist cannot identify the accused herself, confirm the sketch is accurate to reality, prove who committed the crime. She can only prove this is what the witnesses said at the time. Now, how Advocate Ramsipilo would use her? Ramsipilo wouldn't rely on her alone. He would link sketches to original witness statements, compare them to Ntanzi's appearance, either accused and that's number 2 to compare. Thirdly, ask where in this sketch do we see Ntanzi? Where in this sketch do we see Ntanzi? Number 4, combine her evidence with weak eyewitness testimony, contradictions in court, lack of corroboration. That's how you build reasonable doubt. And that is how I feel Uchi Ramsipilo can use Amanda Steenkamp. I think that's how Ramsipilo can use it. Amanda Steenkamp for Ntanzi's sake. And also ayenze Amanda Steenkamp versus Tumelo Madlala's testimony. Tumelo Madlala's testimony is very important because Utumelo testimony, she acted as if Ntanzi yizo lezitsha yonke lento wayeyenza, the drama, and also Zandile Khumalo's testimony is also important for ukudilana lento kaSteenkamp for isake kaNtanzi. So mina I say if Ramza wants to make sure, like really hits it hard, he needs to make sure ukuthi these inside witnesses, for instance, the sketch versus the witnesses name. Tumelo Madlala, the inside witness, inside the house during the shooting, claimed to have seen the intruders. His version has been treated as one of the closest accounts to the event. Key issue, his description must match what was given to the sketch artist, which is Steenkamp. Zandile Khumalo, the second eyewitness, also present inside the house, gave descriptions of the intruders. Her version is supposed to corroborate Madlala. Key issue, does her description match Madlala, the sketch, the accused? Now, Steenkamp, the visual record, took eyewitness descriptions, produced composite sketches, represent what witnesses said at the earlier stage. This is critical. It's closer to the event, less influenced by time, media, or courtroom pressure, where the defense can strike if Madlala then does not match what Steenkamp said. If Madlala's description in court differs from what he originally told the sketch artist, defense argument, his memory has changed, which version is the truth? That's what they will find. If Zandile's and Steenkamp's version, if Zandile's court testimony differs from Steenkamp, from the sketch, defense's argument again would be her identification has evolved over time. Now, if Madlala no Zandile, they don't match it, this is the most dangerous for the state. If they describe different attackers, disagree on features, height, complexion, build, clothing, then there is no single reliable description of the perpetrator. If the sketch does not match Undanzi. Now this is the knockout punch game. If the composite sketch does not resemble Ubongani Ndanzi, defense closes the loop. The people who saw Ndanzi, the people who saw the killer, the so-called killer, did not describe Ndanzi. Now the impact, the core legal impact of it all is that courts are extremely cautious about eyewitnesses identification because memory fades, stress distorts perception. People can become more confident but less accurate over time. So if you show inconsistency between witnesses and sketches, the court must ask, can we safely rely on this identification? Now, the master strategy for the defense is very simple, in my view. Now, Advocate Ramosipile would actually structure it like this. Step 1, lock witnesses into their original descriptions. Step 2, introduce Steenkamp sketches. Step 3, compare Madlala versus the sketch, Zandile versus the sketch, Madlala versus Zandile. Step 4, ask the final questions. Where is Ndanzi in all of this? And the big reveal moment, when all three are merged, 2 eyewitnesses, 1 sketch artist, and they don't align, that creates no consistent face, no reliable identification, no direct link to Bongani Ndanzi. Now, the powerful and clean narrative from the defense, the state had eyewitnesses, they had descriptions, they had even a sketch, but none of them point to Ndanzi, not clearly, not consistently, not safely. Now, this angle does not, if you merge all of this angle, it does not prove innocence directly. It does not, it does something more powerful, actually. It destroys certainty. And in criminal law, if identity is uncertain, the case collapses, and Ubaloyi Netimiake cannot come here and tell us otherwise, because the bottom line is that, yes, Steenkamp is not proof, is not a proof witness. She is a doubt amplifier. If her sketches don't match Ndanzi, reflect inconsistent descriptions, then the defense gains a powerful argument. The identity of the perpetrator is uncertain. And that, my friends, is exactly that. You cannot use uncertainty and still want beyond reasonable doubt. Actually, at this point, you are getting reasonable doubt, which is a potential of acquittal. So I hope Ramosipile uses Steenkamp. That's me. What are your thoughts when it comes to this? Let's talk comment section. Thank you so much. I'll see you on our next video. Bye-bye.
The oxygen I need to survive, I'll be honest. Your loving de dotorini, I am so obsessed. I want to chop your kabi ule, your body de pakemishi.